Good afternoon. This message is not only for people within the borders of the United States, but it is also specifically for those that are in positions of authority within other countries, as well as the heads of state of those other nations. At a certain point in time, within the very recent past, you were informed that you were required to withdraw your consular staff and to shut down your formal operations within the continental United States. And after 10 days from the date of the announcement, you would no longer be acknowledged as being within the borders of the United States under diplomatic pretenses. This was after action had already been taken to acknowledge that at the time, this was not considered to be adversarial, but that there were mitigating circumstances, and there had been a 3-day period engaged to withdraw American personnel from foreign operations, including through the Department of State, or those that would be identified as being under the rubric of the Department of State in other countries. You are in no way, shape, or form authorized to operate as if anybody within the continental United States has any form of diplomatic immunity, whether they're working as a business associate or an alleged intelligence. If you have anybody in any government post, that includes the judicial branch, the legislative branch, or the executive branch, that you've offered some form of immunity, including under the guise of some sort of intelligence operations, and you need to understand it is not going to be acknowledged. Again today, there was again a completely unacceptable interference and an attempt to extort a kickback. I'm sorry if your local operators were not able to deliver on what it is you tried to either compel or entice them into promising you. Whatever it was that you decided to operationalize has been too unwieldy. You made very unwise choices in who you prioritized and how you decided to engage your communications. And you did not requite the good faith effort that was made from within this country to try to assist you in the case that you might have been unduly maligned, engaged with malicious intent, or slandered. We are kind of at a very critical situation. I'm going to read this directly. You're going to understand that these terms have already been presented to you, and anything you've done since then is on you 100% exclusively. Concerning waiver in relationships to foreign nationals. The privileges and immunities held by staffs of diplomatic missions are extended from one country to another in order to permit their respective representatives to effectively perform their duties. It may be said that sending countries own these privileges and immunities. Although the individual enjoying such immunities may not effectively waive them, the sending state can, and occasionally does so. Police authorities should never address the commission of a serious crime by a person enjoying full criminal immunity with the belief that there is no possibility that a prosecution could result. Let me repeat. Police authorities should never address the commission of a serious crime by a person enjoying full criminal immunity with the belief that there is no possibility that a prosecution could result. The seeking of waiver of immunity is handled entirely via diplomatic channels. Effective and informed police work remains the foundation of successful prosecution. Should the Department of State succeed in obtaining a waiver of immunity in a particular case. Members of consular post, normal and special bilateral. Consulates and their foreign personnel are often erroneously considered to be identical to foreign embassies and their staffs in the popular view of privileges and immunities. Traditionally, however, the function of consular posts is fundamentally different from that of the diplomatic missions. Consulates do not have the principal role of providing communication between the two countries, but rather perform a variety of functions for principal interest to their respective sending countries. Consular officers. Consular officers, generally speaking, are those members of consular posts who are recognized by both the sending and the host country as fully authorized to perform the broad array of formal consular functions. As I said, you've already been informed. No consular activities beholden to, taking orders from, or accountable to or through any foreign country are being acknowledged or authorized, and they have not been for a considerable amount of time. Your efforts to continue to obstruct appropriate prosecution of crimes within the United States by those at least alleging and attempting to purport themselves as American citizens is unacceptable. You have not, as of yet, been bold and direct enough to actually acknowledge that you are at war with us. I have already said for over a year, I acknowledge acts of war have been committed against me and my people. I've been in a state of readiness as such. Beginning tomorrow, you need to understand there will be reprisal for every effort you make to try to use your bureaucratic fetishism in order to obstruct appropriate criminal proceedings. Do you understand? Prosecution takes many forms. If you have been able to successfully infiltrate the judicial branch and entice people into violating their duties to uphold the law, there are other remedies, and they will be pursued. I advise you to take the rest of this day and comport yourself appropriately, beginning tomorrow morning, because you are not going to get another warning.